Alright, well this is Aaron Squire coming to you guys again. We've got episode 72 coming at you again this week. Unloading delays. This week on Deck Building with the Squire, I've got Gwaer on. This is his second time. This is the first time you've actually seen what he looks like in his human form. Last time he decided to show up in his dragon form. It was a little bit scary, but I asked him to make sure that we could actually, you know, see what the human form looks like so you could actually shake his hand. Otherwise, you know, just don't get him mad because he'll turn into a dragon, breathe fire all over you. It's just not going to be pretty. I've seen it happen. We're going to talk about some GenCon questions that I'm trying to get the community to send me so that way I can, you know, poll the developers when I'm out there and get a good interview with them. The memory leak issue from this past week, the set update for this week, the last tournament winners from the 5 Shards tournament, because we've got another 5 Shards Ruby Cup tournament tomorrow, and we'll talk about that a little bit. And then we'll do some sort of deck doctor. We haven't figured out which one or what we're going to do, you know, tonight. So, Gwaer, welcome back to the show. How are you feeling, my friend?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Can't complain too much. A little sleepy.
Yeah. So Gwaer warned me before the show that he's actually gotten on to work some QA stuff for GameForge. If you didn't know, GameForge are the people that handle most of the server side stuff for Hex. They're based in Germany and Europe. So there are some things he may not be able to divulge on too much, but yeah, that's pretty cool. So for people that are looking to pick up that kind of job, like what kind of stuff would they have to do?
Dedicate a lot of time to running cards together. Basically, I mean, when you're testing Hex, you have to test every patch, every card, against every other card, and equipment every time. So
wow, it's kind of a tall order. Yeah, so they probably need like an army of people to start working that. So, are the perks pretty good at least, or?
I mean, perks are, you get to say your QA, I guess. I get a nice little forum title. It's all good.
Yeah.
The I think the biggest perk is that I know everything about everything, and you don't.
Well, there you go. There you go. Which is why he can't talk about very much of anything. But we do have him on. I do welcome him on. He is one of the Dragonborn members. All the guilds have fallen apart, so you know what? Dragonborn, it's been about 2 years. I probably come over to you guys anyways, right? You guys are just, it was the waiting game. You guys are just doing a waiting game on me, weren't you?
We are Clan Blackblade.
Oh, Blackblade, not Dragonborn.
Yeah, Dragonborn or some other guys.
Okay, Blackblade then, yeah. That's probably what it is. So first things first, if you guys didn't know, I'm going to GenCon, so if you're going to see me out there, hit me up, and I don't know what I'm going to give you, but I'm going to give you something. I still haven't come up with what I'm going to give you, but I'm pulling for questions. So if you go over to Reddit, or if you go to the main forums, on the main forums, if you go to the, I believe the, what do you call it, the community or fan site portion of the forums, I have a post up there. But post me some questions. I was trying to talk to Drew Walker, but apparently he isn't going to be there. So I'm going to try to hook up with Ben Stoll or something. Just working that part out. But, you know, send me your PvE questions that you want me to ask. And then also I'm going to try to get an interview with Corey this time around, which is pretty exciting for me. I have a brand new camera that I'm going to use. I'm pretty excited about that, and like lapel mics and all kinds of stuff. So Gwaer, you're going to be out there, right? What kind of stuff are you going to be doing at GenCon?
I'm going to be taking all of the convocation packs.
All of them?
I'm going to follow people out of the event hall. I'm going to knock them upside the head. I'm going to take their convocation.
You can just, okay, well, if it's going to come to blows, you can just take mine, okay? I'll just give them to you.
Okay. I like that. It's easier.
It is easier. It's easier for me and for you. I really appreciate seeing you guys in the channel. We got Irish Batusi, Zmick, and Lazarus Ragnarok. Stick around after the show. We'll make sure to do a giveaway as we typically do. On top of that, for all the people that do submit a question to me, if I use your question, I am also giving some stuff out, possibly some set 2 packs and maybe even a convocation pack or 2 if I get to sneak one past Gwaer, that is.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall order.
I know, right? So, this week, everyone was really excited. Set 3 was coming out on Tuesday, and then Monday rolled around, and we found out that there was a problem. So, how sad were you, Gwaer, when that happened? Like, tell me where you were when it happened.
I was actually at my computer when it happened, and
Okay.
we were all very sad, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of loss did you feel? Did it like?
Well, I felt a crushing despair of the Ruby Cup because the only thing that I wanted to do was play set 3 cards there.
Oh yeah.
And now I can't, so I have
Yeah.
to do the Ruby Cup tomorrow, set 3-less.
It's kind of
And
felt
I
like
just
maybe
don't know
like
how I'm gonna make it.
drowning in an ocean and you just can't like grasp up for air type of thing, you know. But then you're still here, so obviously we're both still alive. You know, that's what I felt.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, if you were wondering what actually happened, basically there was a meeting, and it's kind of like when you know the space shuttle is going to launch. So everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we're go here, go here, go." It's we're go at this station, a lot of stuff, and so like basically they sit at a round table, and I guess the programming side, possibly it may or may not have been Chris Wood, said, "Hey, we're having this memory leak issue. It's kind of a big deal, so no go." And so, like, if that was him, that's kind of a brave thing because they have what they call go fever in that situation. Because you don't want to be that guy that everyone like, if you're like no go, then everyone looks at you, and yeah, they despise you for at least a couple weeks. So I think that was a good thing, good choice to make. What was happening was basically whenever you switch screens, it has to unload things from memory and then reload them, and if the one screen is loading stuff while the other one hasn't finished unloading stuff, that causes a big issue as I understand it. I'm very low on the totem pole as far as like understanding all of the things with programming and that sort of stuff, but it made mostly sense to me because I was like, yeah, of course, then you're occupying all this extra memory, and then like I guess the unloader wouldn't finish and it would just leave stuff in memory, and eventually that stuff would pile up, which would mean it would use up all the memory on your computer, and without that memory the game would run ridiculously slowly or crash the program, possibly crashing your operating system as well. Bad juju beans. So it wasn't the best, but had to happen. Gwaer, anything else to add to that you can talk about? Because I know you can't talk about a lot.
Not really. I mean, just the fact that I'm not sure when they're going to do the celebration weekend. This weekend was very good for me. Next weekend
Not so much.
less good for me, and then
it's
after that'll be
GenCon.
right?
Yeah. So if it doesn't come out next weekend, like my prediction is it won't come out until after GenCon, but I do hope that it comes out next weekend. I hope
next
that
weekend is also the VIP tournament as well, which is a major conflict with the...
Yeah. I think that if they rescheduled like the VIP, I don't think it would break too many hearts.
I very much doubt they're going to reschedule the VIP for it, though. Like, that seems very unlikely. More likely, I think that we'll probably see a reward added to VIP tournaments, maybe, or just nothing done, and people will be choosing between the release celebration and your
VIP. Yeah. Moving on, we've got the Hex update, and basically, I'm not even sure. We were trying to figure out who was talking in this article because they're talking to Ben. We thought it was Ben Stoll, but apparently this person's talking to Ben Stoll at one point in the article. But they're just, they're just talking about basically why we come out with new sets, how that's going to shake up the metagame, and how that's going to really like change how you draft and change the way it is that you play. They didn't really confirm whether it's going to be 3-2-1 drafting or if it's going to be, obviously the release weekend is going to be 3-3-3 drafting, which means we're going to use...
No, it's going to 3-3-3. That's what it's...
That's it, straight up. Okay, well, confirmed by Gwaer, for what it's worth. So straight up 3-3-3, so I guess you're saying that 2-1 won't be a thing anymore at all? Won't be available? Okay.
At least that was the last thing I heard from Corey, at any rate, was that... Well, that's the last thing I heard from anyone, is that 2-1 will not be available immediately. There is some talk about maybe bringing it back after the release for some period of time, but I don't actually think they will. I think it'll be more of a we haven't seen 1-1-1 since 1-1-1 was over kind of situation.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and so it seems like also maybe we're heading into a format that's defined by basically two sets, like a first set, second set type of thing.
Well, this block is 2 sets, set 1 and 2. Next block will be 2 sets, set 3 and 4. after that, they're going. The last thing I heard once again is they're going to try to move to a 3-set format, and then you'll have the 1-2-3 type situation. But until they move to 3-set blocks, you're just going to see the same as we saw set 1, block 1.
So moving on, we talked about the Extra Life charity stream, which was last weekend. Was that last weekend? Right? Yeah, it was. It was last weekend. It seems so far away now. I just wanted to go ahead and read what Corey wrote here. So it says, I just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone who participated in the charity stream for Extra Life. Moreover, I wanted to give a specific call out to Infamous Neo and Sirius for coordinating and pushing this event through. We were able to get $27,000 in donations for a great cause, hashtag for the kids. This is an amazing achievement for the Hex community and our streamers. Over 11,000 people tuned in for the 4-day stream that our phenomenal streamers put on for everyone. There were dev interviews, games, and tons of giveaways. The entire team at Hex are very humbled by the generosity and support of our community that our community has shown for not only the development of Hex, but the charitable events. Even though the stream has ended, we invite you to continue donating. Anything you can donate is extremely helpful. The charity raffle is still going on till August 15th. Invite your friends and family to donate for a good cause. You can read more, and it has like a link that you can go and read to it. So I did manage to get on and watch some of those and donate. So it was just a really good thing that they did. I'm actually looking forward to hopefully doing the whatever it is, the charity stream later on in November, I guess, right? So I'm going to try to do that and set some sort of maybe a low goal. But yeah, it was a great thing to watch. They had so many developers on it. I especially got to really enjoy seeing Chris Woods come on and talk, and I always like to hear him talk about stuff. But Gwaer, what did you think about it? You actually got to get on, right, and help out?
Yeah, we did Hectionary on Functions block. I had the brilliant idea to have the community all attempt to draw against Function. I don't know if you've ever seen our Hectionary stuff, but basically it's just we draw terrible pictures of Hex cards and things.
Oh.
And yeah, like I give a card, and then normally it's Function and like Neo or someone else, and they try to draw the card, and you watch them actually do it. This time, instead, I found a website where you could draw as a community. And
right.
I was going through, and like people were posting their links to their individual drawings, and I was having to read the links, open up the web pages, go through them and look for dicks or penises, sorry, or any other things you want to call any terrible thing. That didn't belong on stream. I had to not show that on stream and then only show the other things. So it was very hectic.
Yeah, I believe it. So Strawman's asking if the developer interviews were recorded or posted anywhere. If you go back and check the Hex channel, they may be there. If they haven't highlighted them, they're going to run out soon if they haven't already. Typically, the way Twitch works, Twitch TV saves things for up to like 7 days or 14 days or something, and then it deletes it unless it's been highlighted. So you could check their channel, but you also, as a viewer, can just delete things outright. So they may have also deleted them outright. So yeah, I mean, that would be the best place to look. I didn't go back and re-record their stuff and then try to repost it, because I only did that like one time during the Kickstarter. And I feel like that would be taking their content without their permission, so I didn't do that.
Last I checked, all of the VODs are available for basically the entire event.
Oh wow, okay.
So you could just watch the whole thing.
Wow, okay, and it's 4 days long, so 4 days, right?
Yeah. I mean, they were split up. Every time a streamer ended was the end of a VOD, and most of them were titled something.
Yeah.
Like, I know one of them was Function interviews Ben Stahl, I believe, and that is also the stream with the Hectionary on it, so you can keep watching us do Hectionary.
Well, there you go. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Of course, the VIP is next week, and you can still win your Carnosaurus and Valiant Escort out of that. if you are in it. Also, VIP is returning where you can purchase it for $7 a month, I believe, right? Is that the price on it? And you get
$8.
$8 a month, and you get 1 pack a week. So it breaks out the same as, you know, your typical packs per week, but you get access to the VIP tournament. So basically, it just breaks out, and you get an extra pack a week, and you know, it's kind of like a pay it forward, I guess, you know, type of subscription deal.
You make a little bit because there are 52 weeks, obviously, and you're paying $8 a month, so you make a little bit after a year, but it's not a lot. But honestly, the VIP tournament, I would pay $8 a month just for the VIP tournament.
Hey, Infamous Neo's here. Sweet. Always like to see Infamous come into the stream and hang out with us. So moving on, we've got the update for the tournament tomorrow. Unfortunately, we're only using sets 1 and 2, but we talked about that earlier. So I figured that it would be a good idea to go back and look at what kind of decks were winning. But tomorrow, basically, if you haven't signed up already, go to the 5 Shards website. It's going to be the Ruby Cup. It's like the first link, I believe. You want to go to Battlefy and register there. The confirmation is at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And Pacific Daylight Time, is that right? Did I say that right? I think I did. And then 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time is when the tournament is going to kick off. I won't be playing in the tournament tomorrow because I will actually be judging in the tournament tomorrow. For quite a while, I was into a lot of different other card games, and I did do some judging. I actually have some times when it would be Friday night, and my my friends would call me from the shop and have a dispute and have me rule on something. Never actually got any judge certifications and stuff, but I was working on it before Hex came along and changed my life. So I'm actually looking forward to judging tomorrow, and it's actually taking some stress off because I've been working on my video game to try to get it ready so I have something to show people at GenCon and they can actually play, instead of them be like, hey, here's a video of what I've been working on and it's pretty cool, so you like me? Okay, well, you go play that game then, type of thing. So yeah, Gwaer is actually looking forward to it tomorrow. So he told me the very first person that posts a deck, he'll play it. He doesn't care. He doesn't even care if it's like 60 blood shards. That was his exact words to me. Gwaer can confirm that.
It is. That is.
So
I want your community to suggest a deck for me to play.
You guys get to tell Gwaer what to play tomorrow, and he will play it. Just so you know, the last time that this happened to me, it didn't go well. You guys told me to play, what was it? Eye of Creation, and that was a really bad day for me. So Gwaer, I hope that you don't get that kind of pain tomorrow, but you never know.
I will play anything. It will not be painful for me. I am an amazing player. I can win with anything, or lose with everything. Whatever.
Moving on, so the actual deck lists, of course, we've got the typical Blood Diamond control. This kind of made a little bit of a resurgence. So this is one that you'll see if you have the high-end cards. This is kind of more of an expensive deck because you've got your Angel of Dawn and Vampire King. Uranaz is not that expensive, but Extinction is kind of up there. Soul Marble, and what else? The Living Totems. So it's got some pretty pricey cards in there, but still kicking, still doing pretty well in the format, obviously. Some of the bigger ones, of course, there's Entrath. So, do you know this guy, Entrath? Is he a friend of yours? He's a pretty cool guy.
I hear he is the most handsome and intelligent person in this tournament.
Well, at least probably the, I can't really deny that. But Entrath was running your Bertram Crag Raven, basically your dwarf aggro deck. That is, you got your Terrabots, your Slaughter Gear, Gore Feast. He actually threw an extra Gore Feast in there because why not? Running those Machinists to get that 4 damage through really early. Gearsmith, it's just the typical stuff that we see in here. 2 Hex Geodes, which seems a little bit, what do you call that? There could be some problems there, but I guess it worked out for him. Mimeobot, Tectonic Mega Hulk's a nice closer. Your Construction Foreman. Yeah, I mean, would you make any changes to his deck there, Gwaer? Or wait, this is you. Oh, of course. Oh, it all makes sense now.
Yeah, I was thinking about one less Sapphire Shard and one more Slaughter Gear, because 18 shards is way too many for a Slaughter Gear. You don't need that many shards.
But yeah, another one. This is also a much cheaper deck to construct and build. The most expensive thing lately has been Tectonic Mega Hulk, and really that's just a closer. And I guess you threw in Reese also, which is kind of a money card right now. So both of these are cards that are really good as closers, but not completely necessary for this type of deck. You know, would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't need the Tectonic or the Reese, but
Yeah.
I had them, so I threw them in there.
Yeah.
Actually, I did 0 testing with that deck. To be honest, you really shouldn't run Slaughter Gear in that deck at all, ever, if you actually are trying to win a tournament. It's just too expensive for 18 shards. Can't support it.
Right. The Hex Geos too. Like I feel like one of
Hex
is
Geos
like
are amazing. Actually,
I'm sure they're amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
The construction foremans, you throw one of those down, and then you have a 3/3 attacking on turn 2.
Right.
You don't lose anything for it. I love them. They're really good.
Well, isn't that the one? Oh, am I thinking of the other one? Is this the one where like you have to discard a card? Or is that the one that just? Oh, this one just fixes you, doesn't it?
Yeah, Hex Geo is just a fixer. You put it. It's an artifact that goes into play, so you can then turn that artifact into a 3/3 warbot.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of the fixer where you have to discard a card. I'd only run one of those.
Yeah, no. I don't. I'm not running any of those.
Yeah. Moving on, we've got this Mono Sapphire deck. Or no, this isn't Mono. This is a Blood Sapphire deck where he's running the Mirror Knights, of course, to build up your little army. Hopefully, you get an Inquisitor into play with the Brutality off the Mirror Knight, and you're drawing cards for the rest of the game. He's also running our wonderful Reese the Crustcrawler and a Monsoon, 2 Ambushers, and an Argus. So, like, much more of a control Blood Diamond Blood Sapphire deck. We haven't seen too much of this in the format lately. So another kind of a money deck, though.
Yeah, I mean, Blood Diamond was actually, Blood Sapphire, I guess, and also Blood Diamond were the types that I expected to see more of in the tournament, and was surprised that no one was running them. But then they were all in the top 8, so it was fine. But there weren't enough blood decks in that tournament.
I was running one. I was running Blood Wild.
Good job.
There you go. I did pretty well with it. Better than I did last season. Here we got triple pack with Bertram Cragraven. Another basically like a control deck. It's actually running Zodiac Divination, which is another one that I was running in my deck. Or no, I wasn't running that. I was running Necessary Sacrifice instead. That's right, because I was running a lot of Sacrifice stuff, and it's 1 cheaper, and it does the same thing. Not really too much else to say here. He's running the 4 of Ambusher. I'm thinking in the future that Ambusher is going to be a must 3 to 4 of in most Blood decks that are control or anything, really.
Ambusher's amazing.
It's pretty ridiculous. It deals with a lot of things. The only thing that's not as great about it is it doesn't have like that when your opponent plays a turn 2 Mirror Knight, you can't exactly ambusher it the same turn, the next in response on turn 3. It's not going to happen for you. That's probably the biggest issue there. But in that case, I guess he's got Time Ripple, so I guess that helps out with that sort of situation. But yeah, not too much else to say. There's another control deck.
One thing I like about him is that he's running Reese and can side in Monsoon.
That's pretty cute.
We were experimenting with just running Reese and Monsoon at the same time.
Yeah.
And I really liked it because basically you have to play both of those guys. When you expect those guys, you play entirely differently.
Yeah.
You try to clear the board with one, and you don't try to clear the board with the other. And making people guess was just a really fun mind game that I liked.
Yeah, I could see that. I actually was toying around with a deck that doesn't tunnel Monsoon and tries to play him on turn 2 with Wild Ramp, and yeah, it was all right. Probably not as good as like you play Monsoon and then you have to play things after him. I still feel like he's one of those things where it's like when he works, it's really great, but if not, like it just feels really bad, But he was really good also when I could sacrifice things because I could play them for value and I knew I was getting him back. So I think that's like the best situation that I found that I really enjoy playing Monsoon in. Moving on, we've got this final deck, which is another Blood Diamond deck. I thought there was a Mono Sapphire deck in here. I guess not. Or I guess this one is the Gore Feast deck. Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, Blood Diamond deck, pretty much like we've already seen it. This one's running a Tianost, which is pretty interesting. Less Soul Marble than we've seen in some of the other decks. I guess that's kind of good because, you know, it just takes so long to ramp up and get online. But yeah, it's things you're going to see tomorrow, you know. Anything specific to say about that one? I mean, we pretty much already looked at it. It's the same deck.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much same deck.
Pretty much same deck. So here.
I like that. That was actually what I really wanted to run, a Blood Diamond or a Blood Sapphire in that tournament. I just didn't.
And then you did really well.
I mean, I shouldn't have. Like in the top 8, I faced. I think in a row, was it Blood Diamond, Blood Sapphire, Blood Diamond, or something like that, and my deck should not have won any of those games. Any of them. But it did.
Well, you have so much, like, you have so many robots, and Blood just has a really hard time with artifact troops, you know? Like, it just does.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, Extinction pretty much ends my game. Or
oh, yeah.
Sorrow, even. If you want to throw a Sorrow out, that would do it too. Like, there's
somewhat. I mean, you have a lot of things that are like more than one toughness. You know, more.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of things. You'd be surprised how many like non-X1s are in that dwarf deck.
But all of my X1s are required to get that deck online. Like, if they just wipe me out like turn 3,
yeah,
then
that's true.
I'm pretty much wrecked.
Yeah. So here's that callback to the Gore Feast deck. Of course, we've started to run a lot more Gore Knights. In this one, more humans and that sort of thing. We got Lord Alex is making a showing again, which is kind of good to see. Stormcloud, of course, is a mainstay. Mentalist, of course, is a mainstay. Falconeer. It's kind of interesting he's only running 3 Falconers in here to me and running 3 Dreamers instead. I think I would go down 1 Dreamer and up 1 Falconer. What do you think?
I definitely would do that. I like Falconer way more than Dreamer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Dreamer.
Generally when I run that exact deck, I don't run any Dreamers, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't see Dreamers being like a big, card that I want to play in that deck. Honestly, but I mean, I guess it worked for him. Not too much else to say about it. It's the same deck we've seen for quite a while now. It does the same things. You know, your Gore Feast, you have to be able to answer it, or you have to have blockers up. Like, as soon as you see your opponent's playing Polka, you're basically like, well, I'm in defensive mode for a very long time, and then when I do attack, I have to attack with like 1 troop and have like 2 or 3 defenders up. You know, that type of thing. Is that pretty much like your game plan going into this matchup, or?
Well, no. Honestly, with the deck that I was running, my game plan is
yours is
vomit more stuff out and get it to hit the person before they can hit me.
Well,
that's
sure.
Pretty much always the plan with that deck. That's not okay. That's not true. I was experimenting with a Heatwave sideboard in that deck for the mirror that I would run. Like, I would do my normal game, and then game 2 I would side in Heatwave and then play more conservatively, and then Heatwave them, then vomit everything out onto the board and kill them. So.
I guess that's also a option. This one's Mono Blood deck. Pretty much does the thing as Blood Diamond or Blood Sapphire, except it just does it in a more efficient way as far as like the actual blood shards. It's running 25 blood shards, which seems a little bit high, but 3 terrible transfer, just a lot of life drain in here. He's got the life siphons, making a splash back from set 1 when it was the set 1 meta. Life siphon was everywhere. It's just kind of interesting to see, I guess. Curse of Oblivion.
Yeah, I played against that guy, and he used a Curse of Oblivion on me, and at that point, I wanted him to win the tournament because Curse of Oblivion is my favorite card.
Well, there you go. Let's see. What do we got here? Withering Touch, Living Totem, Monsoon. Yeah, pretty much we've already seen this. Not really going to go over it too much more. But there's also a Mono Sapphire deck that's out there that a lot of people are saying is like one of the top tier decks, which just basically runs a lot of the stuff that the Blood Sapphire deck that we saw ran, and it's mostly centered around Reese. And then of course there's the Angel Sapphire deck, which runs the Reese and then the Angels and the Totems and all that type of stuff, and it's more tempo-y on that side of things. But that's the type of stuff you should expect to see tomorrow. Almost no wild in the top 8 there. Basically, actually no wild in the top 8. Apparently I'm dropping frames, which is unfortunate. Let me know if there's some problems with the stream. It means my wife is probably watching something in the other room, which I've told her not to do while I'm doing this, but that's fine. Yeah, so there's some of the things you should be ready for tomorrow. I was running a Blood Wild deck, which I felt was pretty good. Let's see if I actually still have it. I'll show you the deck. I actually got into top 32 with this, I want to say, or was really close. If I wasn't top 32, it was really, really close. Let's see, Blood Cup Season 2. Yeah, here we go. So, actually, was I running Zared? No, that's not my deck. This isn't even my deck. I gotta go to my decks. Over here, my decks. Was it this one? I'm trying to remember which one it was. Of course, I'm dropping more packets here. I'm trying to look for the champion. I basically was playing the champion where I sacrificed things. It might have been this one. Yeah, this is the deck, the Benoshi deck. So this is the deck that I ran. It actually runs Root Dancers, which is a big throwback for people. I'd like to see a Root Dancer see more play. But it basically ran the 4 of Extinction, and where I could sweep out the board and still have something on the board when I have Wrath with Master Moss, Zentos Inquisitor, and I was also running Minion of Yakuzan. So that was like the main game plan there. I think the best part about the deck was just the fact that I could play Benoshi and sacrifice so many things and push damage so decisively. Like, I could get out of range of things. Like, my opponent plays a Vampire King, I play a Vampire King, and then like I buff it with, like, by sacrificing Minion of Yakuzan, and then buff the Vampire King, and now mine's just ridiculously more strong than my opponent. So yeah, it had some interesting stuff in it. Did reasonably well. My 2-drop, I needed to actually run probably main deck some more Inquisition. So if you do try to play this deck tomorrow, I would say run some main deck Inquisition, like at least 2, probably more like 3 or 4. I feel like that's kind of a big deal in the meta. I think I had more Murder main deck as well, but yeah, it did pretty well for me. If you look at this type of deck, if you want to play Wild, this did okay. You also have the Wild Sapphire deck that we've seen, what's his name play? He plays, oh, I forget what his name is now. Gwaer, do you remember? I'm guessing you probably don't remember.
Nope.
No. But yeah. Yeah, I felt like this was pretty good deck tech on here. The other thing was the shard base. I've got a lot of double shards, and so like it kind of sucks because I had to run a full playset of Shards of Fate and Shard of the Ancients just to get the fixing, because I just have so many double and triple shard for Jadim. Jadim did some work for me today, or that day as well. Crash of Beasts is a nice one too. Get the deck thinning from Chlorophylla. Has some pretty good stuff. Havoc, yeah, that's right. Havoc runs a Sapphire deck, Wild Sapphire deck, which does really well.
I feel like any deck that you're having to run 4 Shards of Fate in is the wrong deck. Just don't run that deck.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
I am not a fan of Shards of Fate. I do not like them. In set 1, I drafted 5-color without them every time, and it was fine. Like, just run your shard base correctly. Threshold is really easy to hit. It's not the same as, you know,
other games.
Magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Alright, so let's go over and try to build the deck for tonight. So any suggestions for tonight, I'm well open if you guys have something you want to post to me. But if not, let's see here, episode 72, which is what we're on, right? We are in episode 72. We've got about 23 minutes to build a deck. So what I was looking at in set 3 was there was that guy that makes you draw cards for your next action that you play. let's see. Draw. Yeah. When this enters play, the next action in your deck gets draw a card. I was like, this is awesome. I have to play this with some sort of escalation cards. So I think that's going to be the deck tonight. We're going to build that. So, unless someone wants me to build something else, but I'm going to start off on that, and we'll see. See how it goes. So what kind of things could we put in this deck? So we have to figure out which is going to be our other shard. Which escalation cards are we going to play in this deck? So we could play Corruption. So we could go into Ruby and play Ragefire, which seems like the optimal choice.
Eternal Youth clearly is the correct answer. I like how you don't argue with me. Like, I've said so many ridiculous things, and you've just been like, yep, and then just kept on going. All right, okay.
You know, I actually have thought about trying Eternal Youth, but every time I do, it just, even against the computer, I lose with Eternal Youth. Oh, I have actually tried it. It just doesn't. I know in my head that this just does not affect board states, and so it's just not going to be good. So,
I mean, I've seen some good Eternal Youth decks, but they're life gain decks in general.
I think if you're going to run Eternal Youth in anything, it's going to be in some sort of stall deck, or it's going to be in a deck where like you can tutor it out with what's it called, that that one guy. I forget what his name is. That guy. The guy becomes like an 0-1, and then you lose like your Ascendant. When you
Ascendant Aspirant, sure.
Yeah, that guy. That'd be the only, and I'll only run one of these.
Don't run that in that deck. That's ridiculous. That you just run something that will win when you can tutor it out instead.
Well, there you go. So Eternal Youth is bad in just any deck. Any deck you try to throw it in is probably not going to happen.
Let's try to think of a situation where you can be like, okay, I can now look in my deck and take any card out, and the card that you take is Eternal Youth. Like, just try to envision that.
Yeah, most of the time it was, I did want something else. I wanted some other card. You're right. This is why you're here, to make sure I don't go too far off the rails. I've also considered running Crashy Beats in here just because I like Wild so much, but we'll keep it simple and just run this typical Sapphire Ruby deck with the Ragefire. So the dream here is playing Thunderfield Seer and actually getting it on the Ragefire. That's the dream, but we're probably going to play some other actions, and if it lands on those, that's going to be okay too, and we'll have ways to like pull them out of our graveyard or something like that. So I think that's the direction to go. What do you think, Gwaer?
Sounds good to me.
All right. I can't argue with you, so I'm not going to. Divination seems like an okay one-of. So we're basically playing some sort of control-y action deck with maybe some endgame stuff. So probably just run the typical counters in here. There is a new counter in the set 3. It's okay. It's like cost 4 though, I think. We want to see PvP cards, not PvE. Any suggestions you have are welcome, Gwaer, while we're going through stuff. I'd like to know why when I say counter that Verdict doesn't come up. That would be nice. Interrupt. Oh, I guess the word is interrupt.
What champion works in this kind of deck? Is that something you generally do last as your champions?
Good question. I should probably think about that right now.
I've been doing like champion first when I
I typically do. I just get excited about cards. I start throwing cards at things and stuff, and maybe I should actually just switch this to champion so I'm not looking at cards. That would help. Let's go champions. Is the stream okay? Is because I keep getting like packet loss on the stream. I hope you guys are getting everything and we're not hosing you guys on the stream. If not, I mean it's gonna get syndicated anyways. Target troop gets -1 power. Not so much. What would we do with this? Scorch? No, not for 5. 5 for a Scorch. I mean, I guess you can kill something with it. I'm definitely open to suggestions. This guy puts an Oracle Song in your hand, but it costs 7.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to be what we're going for either. Stream is looking good on your end? Okay, that's good. Good to hear that. It's probably, you know, honestly, we're probably going to end up with Bertram again. See, just having that 1/1 blocker
Bertram is not an option in set 3, is it?
Well, like, even if I was going to play Constructed, I mean, we're talking about Constructed right now.
Maybe. Maybe not. You know, I'm not actually sure.
Okay, well, let's say that set 1 and set 2 champions are not available. So right now what I'm looking at is this guy, which makes a troop -1 front end. Nah. I mean, I do get to play set 1 and 2 cards, right?
Yeah, you can play set 1 and 2 cards, yeah.
Yeah. So I've got that. I can create a Scorch, and that seems okay. Maybe the removal is probably the best option here. It seems kind of not great, but yeah. I mean, the only other thing is I can give something flight, but it's only for this turn. That feels like that's more for like aggro. That's not really what we're going for. Oh, I guess we have Benvolio. I guess that's not too bad. Draw a card. The card is a non-resource card. It gets at the end of the turn, discard this. But the thing is, we're running Countermagic in the deck, and I don't want to discard that. So that actually doesn't seem that good now. I don't know. So we've got, basically, I'll let the stream decide. We've got Dreaming Fox for an Oracle Song. Probably the Scorch is actually the best. And then we've got Web Reaver Throx. So I think we're going with Throx here. Okay, well, let's go with, or not Throx. Fox. It's like a, what do you call that? Dr. Seuss name right there. Web Weaver Throx. Savvas. That's how they say hello in French, I guess. Okay. All right. I think that's what we're going with. Sava.
Pretty sure that's bonjour, right? Is hello.
Well, they say that also, but like this
is how are you, right? Isn't that what that is?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been in French class now. All my French viewers, all one of them is going to correct me when this gets syndicated on my YouTube channel. We want Verdict. We already got that. Probably don't want too many actions because I don't want to like get it on something and then feel bad about it. But you know, counter draw seems like a pretty amazing play. You know,
sure,
even Time Ripple draw.
Honestly, any action draw seems great. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Anything draw. What am I saying? Anything draw is great.
Let's look at all the Prophecy cards because I think that's mostly what we're going for here. Prophecy, and the cat is being a cat. Apparently, she doesn't know that I'm streaming a show right now. So we already got that guy. Let's see. Listeners, play a next troop in your deck. Probably not. Enchanter. When listeners play next troop in your deck, Spell Shield. No. Is it this guy? Listeners play next action your deck gets. When you play it, copy it. Oh yeah, we're playing that guy. That seems amazing. Probably not for the counters, but for other stuff, you know, it could be pretty amazing.
Sure.
Let's see, what else have we got?
And you know, if you run a deck where you only have like 4 copies of a troop, all of your prophecies that only go on troops are going to go on that guy.
That's true.
It doesn't matter where he is.
Centers play a next card in your deck is cost 1 greater. You can play it for free. That's okay, I guess. That's pretty good. We could play 4 of this guy, and then we can play our stuff for free.
Yeah, there you go.
That seems pretty amazing. So you could actually end up in a situation where, like, if you happen to actually get get this on your actions, on those what are they called? the ruby actions that we put in here, which I just blanked on, Ragefires, then you could just keep casting them. So we'll probably just put a lot of ruby removal at this point in here. I think. I mean, that seems to be the way to go. The only problem is spell shield, I would say, when we're looking at something like this.
Make sure you're not running. You are running some non-targeted actions as well.
Yeah, we'll probably run the Heatwave as a typical, which could actually run double Heatwaves. I mean, it kills our dudes, but our dudes are really there to like enable us to like have like really amazing actions more than they are to actually like and then defend, like chump block most of the time. Like they're enablers, so it's not too bad if like I kill my own field, I don't think. Probably run a one of burn to the ground maybe, and burn. I'm not sure if I would run burn to the ground, but
Shosny wants to know if you're running Augur of Sirion.
let's find out. Augur. I'm not. Let's see, why am I not? You can see the top of your deck. You can play the top card of your deck. It's a 4/5 flight. Yeah, we could probably run 2 of these. We could probably run 2 of those. It's a 6-drop, so it's kind of like the top of our curve type of thing. We're basically right at our curve. We're going to have to start making some cuts, obviously, when we get over there. I think I want to have the other really amazing damage card right now, the one that gives me a charge. In fact, I think it has charge in the name. I'm really like kind of frazzled, if you guys didn't notice. Crackling Bolt has crackling in the name. That's what it has. Crackling Bolt's probably a good choice for this deck as well. But instant quick action speed is kind of important as well. The only other thing is like which shards also are going to work for us besides the typical Shard of Innovation. Is obviously we're going to play that in here. Is there a set 3 shard that we can play in here? And I mean, if there was one, there's one that's an allegiance for the Coyotals, right?
Yes.
But I don't think it's in the correct.
You, doesn't it?
It's this one. It's not in the right shards. It's for Diamond and Wild. Yeah. So we needed something in Ruby. If this was Ruby, this would be great. But it's not, so that doesn't really help us. I guess we could have pushed this into Wild and done Crash the Beast, and then this would work much better. So if you decide to run this same deck, and instead of going into Ruby as all your actions, you go into Wild instead for Crash the Beast, and I don't know if there's another great action to have in Wild, unfortunately. You could run the Bluegrass, and that would be really good for you. There might be some better Coyotals over there, though. You could probably run Reese in here, because why not? Oh, what's that other Sapphire action where it's like you look at the top of the deck? You look at the top card of the deck. I'm trying to remember. It's the new one in set 3. In fact, I'll just go, if I just go cost 1, I'm pretty sure I'll find it. So it's going to be right here. Where are you? Arcane Focus. So that's another one you'll probably end up running in this deck. Maybe 2 to, between 2 and 4, depending on like. But the nice thing about running that card is it's going to fix for you as well. Gwaer told me before the thing he can't talk a lot during these, so if it sounds like he's being quiet, it's probably for a reason.
Yeah, I was actually waiting for your stream to catch up. As I told you previous to the stream, is I have not really looked at set 3 cards for reasons, because yeah, and so now I have no idea what you're talking about most of the time for set 3 cards. So I'm just sitting around waiting for it to show me what you're talking about.
We're the professionals here, guys. We're the professionals that don't know about the cards, so
See, okay, well here's another. Okay, I told you one reason, which was that I was supposed to do a set review with Function and Mocock.
Right,
and
right.
I wanted to like be caught by surprise and do my from the hip reviews. And
Yeah.
That was supposed to be like as soon as we got the list, and then it kept on getting pushed off and pushed off and pushed off, and so I just didn't do it. Now, there's another reason in that I love set releases. Like, I don't like to look at cards in advance. I like to go into like a draft and like just draft cards and just shoot from the hip with it. And
Yeah.
I got so close to the set 3 release that I was finally like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait for it to come out and see what happens, because that's my favorite thing anyway. So there we go.
Seems like a pretty good way to do things. Seems acceptable. I accept that. That's acceptable. So I'm feeling okay about this deck. We actually only have to get rid of like 9 cards at 24 shards of what we have right now. We really do want all of our charges, and we have a lot of fixing in, you know, the way Sapphire is going to fix is like with Arcane Focus, and I'll just explain this for a minute. We've got about 6 minutes to cap off this deck. So it says, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one of them in your hand and the remaining card into your deck. So with this, at the beginning of the game, if I have this in my hand and a Sapphire Shard, and maybe I have another Sapphire Shard and I have like a bunch of ruby things, I can search for that ruby shard to find it, you know. Or let's say that I'm flooded, but I happen to have Arcane Focus in my hand. Well, then I'm, you know, it's not as bad because now I can search for more spells and put them into my hand with this. So it does a very similar effect to a lot of cards in other games that do this sort of thing. So this is going to help fix our deck. It doesn't actually ramp us in the sense that it's not going to get us ahead by helping us play resources early, but it does help fix our shard base, and it can help us find spells to answer problematic situations.
I really like the art on that guy too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I hope there's some alternate art for this. There's got to be. So, let's see. Mostly, what do I want to get rid of here? I do like that a lot of our stuff has flight. That seems pretty good, especially with the amount of removal that we have to just kind of clear the way. I definitely want to keep the 4 burns, because in this format, the best response you can have to the turn 2 Mirror Knight is like, or to a Gore Feast, is burn in response. A lot of times, like probably newer players that are playing Gore Feast will go ahead and play it, and then when you respond with burn, it's going to set them back just ridiculously. It puts them in a much worse situation to actually finish out the game, you know, against you. So yeah, having quick action speed removal is kind of a big deal in here. So I'm actually a little bit more apt to remove maybe 2 of these crackling bolts. What do you think about that decision, Gwaer?
I think it's a great idea. I'm actually not a huge fan of Crackling Bolt in general, just because it's not quick. It is necessary. I mean, don't get me wrong, I will run it. It's a perfectly playable card, but I prefer Burn.
So next one on my list, my hit list here, is this Zodiac Divination. So I like Zodiac Divination, but I don't think we actually need it in this deck because, one, we already talked about Arcane Focus is in the deck, and we have all these great Coyotals, which are going to help me draw cards. So I don't think that the card draw from this will be enough to be relevant on turn 7 or 8, which is typically when I'm going to be playing it. So I think I can get rid of it.
Yep, cut it.
Verdict of the Ancient Kings is a great one to have in the reserves, so I feel like I can cut that one down. Also, again, we kind of want to, with some of these Coyotals, be able to play the cards that we're drawing a little bit sooner. Depends on the.
I would say that that's a meta call more than anything. You should think about what you're going to be coming up with. Verdict is one of those. Yes, okay, you could throw it in the sideboard, but a lot of times it's just really good, depending on what you're going to face. So
it's true.
I would say. I could say you could go either way on that. It depends on what you're going to be playing against.
I definitely want to keep the Ragefire. That's like part of the deck. That's like a key component to the deck. I definitely want to keep maybe at least 3 Heatwave. I could maybe go down 1 on those. Let's see what we're killing with Heatwave. We actually aren't killing as many things as I thought we were. We kill Thunderfield Elder and Thunderfield Seer. And like I said, by the time these guys come into play, they've done their job, so it's not a big deal. The Seer's a little bit expensive for us to have to kill it, but you know, I mean, like, if I Thunderfield Elder and then I draw into a Heatwave, I'm dealing 4 damage to my field. That's pretty amazing. Maybe the burn to the ground. I don't know. Maybe. Again, it's basic action speed. This is like your closer, like when you're sitting at like 8 resources and you top this and your opponent's at like 5 health. You know, and hopefully they don't have Countermagic to deal with you. You just close out the game. But I think that, again, it's a similar job is already being done by our Ragefire, so I don't think that I need it.
That sounds sound.
Again, the reason why I say that Ragefire is doing this similar job is because, like, I mean, I do have to play more cards to get there, but, you know, Ragefire, once you play the 3rd one, it's 8 damage. No, 6 damage. Used to be 8 damage. A long time ago. Long story. But, you know, first time it's 2, the next time it's 4, the next time it's 6, the next time it's going to be 8 damage. So, you know, eventually it does a ton of damage, and when you can top deck it and you don't have anything to kill on the table, or you have your opponent at lethal, like, you can just dome your opponent. And yeah, and plus, if we happen to get it where we draw cards with it, it seems pretty amazing to me. I'm actually really liking this deck. I actually really want to try this, play this deck right now. This is like becoming my favorite deck right now.
I like a deck like it, but I don't think it'll make it into constructed. But I mean, it's fun. I would play it in Proving Grounds.
I'll probably pull down the Crackling Bolts just one more and maybe go down one on Augur of Sirion. I feel like I do want 2 of these in the deck, but I have to really try out the deck to feel like to feel out what needs to go and what needs to stay, type of thing.
Yeah, the thing about the Augur of Sirion is the fact that, you know, since you're seeing the top card of your deck, that basically always gives you 1 more card. So you could hit a string of actions that you can play and just keep playing them.
That's true. You could go infinite. So I guess, yeah, in that case, yeah, maybe I do want to run 2 of those. Maybe I just want to get rid of Crackling Bolt altogether out of here.
That would probably be my cut. I'm not entirely sure what you have in the deck because I'm just watching you scroll through it, but yeah, probably Crackling Bolt would be very high on my cut list.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the 2 Verdicts. The Seers I can't really cut because that's kind of like a big part of the deck. Reese is in here, but he's just so good, it's like, why not? You know, at least a 1 of Reese. The Ragefire, of course, is a core component. The Heatwave is maybe a 3 of or 4 of, so I might be able to cut 1 of those and push 1 to the reserves. We've talked about this before on the show, where what you can do is, like, if you're really iffy about cards when you're trying them out, especially if you're doing like best of 3 with your buddies, just throw it in the reserves and then see how much you really want to side it in, especially if it's like on a Friday night tournament night or something like that where you're trying to play. You know, that's a lot of times when I'm trying things out and I'm really not sure exactly where I want things, and I'm not sure if I want 4 like heat waves in my main. I'll throw 1 in the reserves, and that way I still have the option later on that night to fix the decks for games 2 and 3.
I think, honestly, I would hit on something else. With Gauntlet coming out, that's exactly how you're going to run Gauntlets, because you will have sideboards, but they don't mean anything from match to match because you're playing a different person every time.
Right.
But you can refine your deck with it. And I feel like, I mean, it's almost to the point where it might as well not have sideboards in the Gauntlet, but since they do, it seems like a really good place to test decks similar to what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, for sure. I guess this guy, I can cut 1 of these guys. Probably this Indigo Dreamwalker is really fun, really great. It lets me play actions for free. It could let me play Ragefire for free, which is cool. And I can surprise my opponent. Like, if I have like all my resources exhausted, I can play Countermagic for free, and that's a lot of fun. But I feel like I can go down 1 on those and be okay. This guy is kind of an iffy choice for the deck. To me anyways, just because, like, yeah, it's really cool to have surprises in there, but I don't know, I feel like at the 4-drop slot, like, especially with set 1 cards still available, like, I could run like an Eldritch Dreamer in this slot. I could run a lot of different 4-drops in this slot that may be better, or maybe just not run this guy and run more Reese, you know, then that may actually be better. So anything else to comment on the Dreamwalker there, the Indigo Dreamwalker?
Yeah, I mean, I like him a lot. I think he's a cool aspect of that deck. I definitely wouldn't put a Dreamer in his place, but that's just me.
Oh, it's because you hate Dreamers, though.
That is a lot because I hate Dreamers. But I mean, you're making a lot of decisions because of things like Gore Feast that you're worried about. You know, the quick action.
Oh yeah.
Whatnot. Having an action. Basically, if you just think of that Indigo Dreamwalker as your next card is free with a 3/4 body on it, it seems pretty good because you know then you have a blocker at the very
Still have to
least,
draw the card though.
Sure,
you know?
sure. That's true with all of the cards.
That is true. You have to draw the card. I always love that when you get into these huge arguments with people and they're like, well, then I would just do this. And then you're like, well, then this I might just draw this. And then they're like, well, then I would just do this because I would have drawn it. And I'm like, you know, there are answers, but like we can play this like back and forth, but you actually have to play the game and then like see what you actually draw. You can't just be like, well, then this happens, then that happens. You know, like obviously there's an answer to everything. You know,
yeah, I've never been part of a conversation like that, but I have watched Function play Mental Hex, and it seems kind of like that. So,
well, I mean, maybe that's more of an exercise. That sounds like with knowing Function, I don't think that he does that. It feels whenever I've gotten this, I think that's more of like the MMO game thing, like when people used to be like, well, I have the best hunter in World of Warcraft or whatever because of this and this, and you're like, okay, so if I was, you know, it's like I have this, and they're like, well, I would just do this, this, and this, and you know, that's how I would beat you. And they're like, well, what if this and this, and then it just gets into this.
You're playing a hunter. No one good plays hunters.
It just gets into a silly conversation zone. Silly conversation zone morning. Yeah. So let's see. We've got 16 ruby shards, 33 sapphire shards. So maybe we might try to get some more ruby cards into this to fix it a bit, especially because our champion is ruby. Or swap our champion to the sapphire one that gives the guy the front end -1. I'm not really too on board with this champion as far as like if I had to run a set 3 champion in this deck, but he may be the better choice. So we'll probably run something like an 8-12 or a 7-13 split. What do you think, Gwaer?
I would think I would go with 8-12 in this one, just because you have burn. Especially, you want to be able to get your burns out.
Right, and that's, you know, we have 24 shards, so we've got 20 normal shards, and then we've got the Shard of Innovation for the fixing, because we can play this for either one. It does put us behind a little bit because we have to wait a turn to get that resource. We don't actually get the resource the turn we play it, so a little bit slow, but it is what it is. So we've gone over budgeted on time, so we do have to cut off the episode, but do stick around for the giveaway after the episode. We had Gwaer on here. We built this awesome deck tonight on Deck Built to Squire. We also talked about GenCON, and so make sure you get over to the forums and add some questions onto the different posts that I had in both the Hex main forum and the Reddit forum. We talked about the memory leak issue and how that pushed set 3 back, and it, you know, basically pulled my heart out of my chest, and you know, I had to go in for surgery that day so they could replace it, and you know, I'm okay, I'm better now. It was really sad. And then we talked about some of the set update stuff and how we're going to be moving to a all set 3 pack format for when we're drafting. We talked about the last tournaments and some of the people that were winning last Shards of Fate, Shard Cup tournament, and who is going to be doing what kind of decks to look out for tomorrow. So wish you all well, you know, good luck tomorrow in the Shards of Fate tournament, the Ruby Cup. Make sure you're showing up for that at 9 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time, and registering your deck at 8 o'clock, I believe, is what I wrote down. Yeah, 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And of course I had Gwaer on here, and he was pretty awesome. We got to see him in his human form this time, so this doesn't happen very often, but on episode 72 of Deck Built to Squire, we were pulling out all the stops for you guys, so I hope you appreciate that. So
yeah,
Gwaer,
it's hard for me to contain all of my awesome into this.
Into that form, I know. Yeah, actually, he's actually the size of a dragon, but he looks like a human right now. So,
yes,
like, his house is actually pretty big.
Very big, very big.
Just very big. So, Gwaer, anything to say before we head out, or anything we need to plug, you think, or anything I missed?
No, I mean, I guess I'll see all of these guys on the forums, and I'll probably yell at them, and that'll be nice.
That's typical classic Gwaer.